Hello and welcome to India Narrative. My name is Aditi Nagpal Girotra. We often try to bring forth existing issues in and around the country. Today on India Narrative, we have Mr. Tapesh Sinha, who is an NRI based out of Taiwan. He's an engineer from Jadavpur University and a management graduate from IIM Kolkata. He's been into the IT industry for past 24 years. He's also the chairman of Acctel Ltd, Taiwan, the joint venture company. And Forbes Asia ranked Tapesh as one of the wealthiest businessmen in Taiwan. So Tapesh is joining us on the chat today. Welcome, Tapesh.
Hi, Aditi. Good to be here.
Yes, thank you. So today we're going to talk about China tensions that may have pushed India and Taiwan closer together. So Tapesh, support is growing within India's government to formally start talks on a trade deal with Taiwan as both democracies see relations with China deteriorate. Do you think a trade deal with Taiwan would help India's goal of seeking greater investments in technology and electronics?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, one has to separate the politics from the trade. And if you take the history of the development of the entire IT, contract manufacturing business in China over the last 20, 25 years, it was all driven by Taiwanese companies, companies like Foxconn, Quanta, Compal, Pegatron, who kind of were the original contract manufacturers for all the large IT majors like Dell, HP, IBM, Lenovo. And then, subsequently when the whole mobile boom started, the entire, the Apple supply chain was also it's all driven by the Taiwanese contract manufacturers. So India would benefit. I mean, I don't know the relevance of a free trade agreement, if that's what you mean by a trade deal, but certainly India would benefit a great deal by making it easier for Taiwanese companies to come invest and set up manufacturing, set up services in India. I mean, that is a point without any argument. Absolutely.
So basically, I was referring to Taiwan's relationship deteriorating with China, and at one point they are threatening Taiwan, and on the other hand they are importing technology. So that is what I meant when I said that India could benefit in this scenario, and investments in technology and electronics could boom.
I think that the currently is the best possible. The environment couldn't have been better for a closer cooperation between Taiwan and India for two reasons. India's relationship with China obviously has deteriorated in the last 1 to 2 years. And Taiwan's relationship with China also has been kind of at its historic low because of the current government in Taiwan is so-called more towards independent Taiwan. I mean, the support is more towards independent Taiwan, and there is a growing move within Taiwan, people to move towards support for independence. On top of that, when you layer that with the fact that there has been a tremendous amount of trade tension between China and United States. I mean, United States being the biggest market, export market for any Asian country. I think the environment could be better because Taiwan needs an alternative to China, which can offer the scale. I mean, of course, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, they're all places where the Taiwanese manufacturers have existing manufacturing facilities. But you need scale. I mean, what China allows is great scale. You need big land, you need a lot of labor. What India lacks, obviously, I mean, we know the story, is infrastructure, ease of doing business, et cetera, which we all have to work on. But the big thing is that for, you know, India is probably at its historic best relationship with the United States. Taiwan is also at its best relationship with United States. And both these countries, in turn, are probably in its historic worst in relationship with China. Yeah. So the environment is perfect. Now, whether we can, how much we can push it and make it productive and make it a reality is something that the government of India has to really work on.
Mm-hmm. So, so displeasure with China can turn into pleasure with Taiwan.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, India has upgraded its relationship with Taiwan, over the years. I mean, now we have a very well-staffed, trade office in Taiwan, and it is manned by a senior foreign service official. So obviously India is giving more importance to its relationship with Taiwan. I mean, that's for sure. And rightly so, because of the economic imperatives. Taiwan is very keen to obviously build on its relationship with India because, both are democracies, both, have, common interests. So absolutely. I mean, the environment is totally in favor. Like I said, it is about, how much we can make it happen.
Exactly. India and Taiwan have maintained unofficial diplomatic relations. Now, do you agree it's about time we give or we seek clarity on things? Future relations.
Well, I don't think it's practical to have. I don't think it's practical to have formal, diplomatic relationship with Taiwan. I don't think that's going to ever happen. I mean, not at least in the near future. I mean, after all, we have a 3,000 or 5,000 miles border with China. And, China is whatever our relationship with China, it is very important to maintain. And it is absolutely a formal diplomatic relationship with Taiwan would mean that a break off a formal relationship with China. That is absolutely unthinkable. So, simply because we are just, geographic, we are too important to each other, India and China. So I don't think even without a formal diplomatic relationship, a lot can be achieved. Taiwan has formal diplomatic relationship with only very, very few countries in the world. But that doesn't stop them from maintaining, taking the relationship to the next level with India.
Okay. But, China is importing technology from Taiwan to counter US tech hardware. How does it fit in, Tsai Ing-wen's policies?
You see, Taiwan is, as a world leader in semiconductors, in LCD, manufacturing. So the big thing that China today is lacking is semiconductor technology. They're extremely dependent on Taiwan. Companies like Huawei or ZTE. China is very, very dependent on TSMC or UMC for the semiconductors. Now, with US sanctions, it becomes difficult for China to access not the technology. I'm talking about, technology is, way down the line. I'm talking about even the product. Today, China is even struggling to get, companies like Huawei are struggling to get semiconductors from Taiwan because of US sanctions. And they're really scrambling to, find alternatives. And semiconductors, as you know, it's a very, very long cycle to develop semiconductor technology. It takes decades to do that. So China is in trouble in terms of with the Trump administration's sanctions. China is really, I mean, companies like Huawei are facing an existential threat because of the sanctions. India, of course, has no such problem. I mean, there is a free flow of technology from every country to India. So Taiwanese companies have no problem, sharing either product or technology with India.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think are the market opportunities for India in doing business with Taiwan?
The biggest market opportunity, obviously, is to attract these contract manufacturers, which India is already doing. I think India is kind of trying to, make it more conducive to do business for people like Foxconn and Pegatron and Wistron, which are the part of the so-called Apple supply chain, which are the largest suppliers to Apple for their iPhones, for their MacBooks, for the MacBook Pros, the MacBook Airs, etc., etc. Now, I think India is trying hard to do that. It is happening. The question is, what is the speed? Are we going to be able to accelerate this process? Is the environment going to change over the years? Now, maybe things change or with the next administration in the US. We don't know. But the point is that currently, if India was able to attract Taiwanese, manufacture, what India lacks today is manufacturing technology. I'm not talking about when I say manufacturing technology, I'm not talking about just technology sector, which is like phones or laptops or, you need manufacturing technology and Taiwan is the leader in manufacturing technology, not just in so-called the technology space, but also in, many other. I mean, Taiwan is very big in for example, the next emerging supply chain, which is the electric car supply chain, which is Taiwan is manufactures a lot of inputs that go into a Tesla, for example. Now, you don't want this to be going to China from Taiwan. You want it to, you want the manufacturing to come to India rather than, obviously, I mean, the Taiwanese have traditionally looked at China because they speak the same language. They're ethnically this, kind of the same. But they have also, they also have gone to Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia. So India has to really position itself as an alternative to these other countries. Yeah.
But New Delhi is actually looking for an alternative market and trade route away from China. So can Taiwan meet India's ever-growing technological demands?
Yeah, of course. I mean, what you mean by technological demands? Do you mean the technology? China's export to India is China's export to India. Yeah. So when it comes to making cheap phones or value phones, of course, China is has got the market, with its, kind of the 4 or 5 brands that they kind of sell in India and, in other third world countries, also in some markets in Europe. But China obviously has, the global leaders in the smartphone space are Apple, Samsung, and then you have the Chinese brands. I mean, it's unfortunate that today, globally, there are no real brands left outside of Apple and Samsung who are of any consequences, and all the other brands, the rest of the brands happen to be the Chinese brands. So if you ask me that whether there are Chinese products that can replace, the current brands that are selling in India, the answer is no. If you ask me that can Taiwan help India to develop Indian brands, which should definitely be the case, that India should have Indian brands of phones and not be swamped by the Chinese brands, then yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Tapesh, in a recent event, China blasted India for referring to Taiwan as a country. India gave, of course, a befitting reply to it. Isn't it about time that Taiwan took stand on things, issues pertaining to being threatened by China repeatedly, and yet importing Taiwanese technology?
I mean, China is a giant, you know. I mean, they are the big bull in the store, you know. I mean, so you can't Taiwan. If you're talking about a country with 1.5 billion people, and you know, probably one of the largest land masses, the second biggest economy in the world. Taiwan is a country with 25 million people. You know, it's a much smaller, so their leverage globally in terms of the diplomatic. I mean, as you know, even Taiwan is one of miraculously a COVID-free country, probably the only one on the planet. But yet, Taiwan is not a part of the WHO. It's not even been granted observer status, which it rightly deserves. So I think it's more for the world to kind of stand up and say that, look, I mean, Taiwan is an important player, and Taiwan needs to be acknowledged. Now, whether you go what kind of platform you're going to give to Taiwan is for the world leaders to decide. And I don't think any one country can take a stand. Taiwan obviously wants to be more recognized as an independent, fully functional democracy, which follows Western laws, which is for all practical purpose one of the handful of true democracies in Asia. Now, China will always try and stop that, because if they claim that Taiwan is an integral part of China, so they're not going to give that up easily.
Absolutely, but Taiwan totally deserve to be independent of anything that's so vicious and so something that hampers their growth and identity. So thank you, Tapesh, for joining us today and talking to us on this issue. It was quite an interesting chat, and your view on things has shed a light on many from trade point of view, on India's trade point of view, and other things also. Thank you so much today. Thank you
My
so much for
pleasure.
taking